Everybody, we are back with take 2 on the epilogue of Kingdom Come. We'll see how it goes. I read up a little bit on it and well, doesn't seem promising, but we'll see. I tried to play it in one go instead of loading a game. So unfortunately I had to do the siege or the conquest of Talmber once again, but we are now just past that. I'm going to fetch Sir Radzig. Also known as Father. And Hans got away quite well here when I was doing other stuff, like fiddling with the camera and saving and these kinds of things. The quest or conquest of Talmber actually went worse this time. Still, I guess it's kind of hard to fail. Well, yeah, you can probably die. That's one way to fail. But last time we had plenty of people coming up into the courtyard, and this time it was just me and not Robert, the other guy. Or wait, well, I always mix them up. So it was just me and the captain, essentially. So that was not good in that sense. But yeah, there came people through the portcullis as well, so it worked out, but not as good as last time. So we will try to skip through all this cutscene stuff, and then go directly, without quitting the game, so to say, to the epilogue. Let's see how it goes.
Not half as glad as I am, Your Grace.
Well, we kept our word too, and now Toth has had his head start and he's fair game. Which way do they go?
To the north, but I would be careful, Sir Hans.
Fear not, Your Grace. I have twice as many men as he. Well, I won't keep you any longer. I'm sure the two of you have a lot to say to each other. Let's go!
Twice as many men, so...
You alright, Father?
4.
I am.
Oh.
They treated me quite decently. Although they did steal my horse, so oddly enough, even though you don't have his blood, you're very
yeah,
on the subject of steeds. When he was around your age,
there we go.
Came bored to ride like the knights.
Oh yeah, and
set out to see the world.
oh, stop talking.
Through many adventures.
It's a long list, so skip that one as well. We've seen it once already. I actually let it play through on my first playthrough. Oh, and now we have some dream stuff. And now I'm woken up by the guard at the castle. Pigstein. So let us see how this turns out. My clothes are probably in worse shape than ever. I don't care. And yes, yeah, there we have it. Quest completed. Still loading. There we are, game saved. Doesn't usually no, well, I might have skipped that part as well, inadvertently. Go to the upper castle during the day. Oh, we'll do that immediately then, and see what happens. It's still bugged, then Fallout. just have a look at my clothes. Yeah, they are abysmal. So, okay, I might actually stop by and pick some of them up. It cost me a fortune, but that's okay. Nourishment 87, well that's much more. I had 120 last time I woke up for some reason. I'm not sure why. It was a bit weird, I must say.
Bread! Rolls and pretzels!
Hello, Mr. Armorsmith.
God be with you.
And this one I picked up. That's a long sword. Yeah, okay. I just picked it up while we were fighting, essentially. So. $700 caps. Still not caps, but you know what I mean. And that one will cost as much, maybe even more, to repair my stuff here, I think. Oh, you're still standing in the middle of a table.
I'm at your service, Sir Knight.
Yeah, 700. So not as much, but almost. A little bit better. Charisma 20, yep.
Get it before it goes brown!
Implements, instruments, and tools.
Apparently all the Alberts lying around is because, well, part of the explanation is they have to pull out the torches at night, the guards. And since the halberd is a two-handed weapon, they automatically drop it to the floor. So yeah, or ground, I should say. Well, sometimes floor.
How are you, Henry?
Yeah, I'm fine. We should see if this still refuses to load, and I will walk the dog and then play some Fallout, I guess. Yep. So until we do that, we can do a bit of maintenance, perhaps. Sorry. Not the best of maintenance, actually. We should see. Yeah, oh, well, actually, the best of maintenance. Exciting. Or not. We'll see.
How?
Ah,
Are you going to
it
meet
worked.
Margrave Jobst as well?
Damn it.
What about Istvan?
And I mean, it was 2 seconds loading, not 15 minutes that we tried earlier.
Have no fear. We'll get him eventually.
Yay.
Anyway, let's go and see what Jobst wants from us.
I mean, I like this game, but it's unfortunate with these kinds of bugs, because that's a bug. That's not something else. If it loads in 2 seconds, in this case, and takes, well, it doesn't load at all otherwise.
Christ's blessings on you all.
And on you, Lord Capon.
Ah, the vent. We just arrived for the epilogue.
Had a son, Sir Redzig?
Yes, just loaded.
This gentleman here is John II of Liechtenstein, a member of my council.
I'm honored, gentlemen.
Come join us. Margrave Jobst was just about to tell us the reason for his visit. Your Grace?
I'm sure we're all agreed, Your Graces, that all this unrest must come to an end. This kingdom needs a king.
Question is, which king?
My cousin, Wenceslas IV, who is being held in captivity.
I have to confess, my lord, that your answer surprises me a little. If I'm correctly informed, until recently you sided with your other cousin, Sigismund.
That I cannot deny, and I have always stated my position plainly. But times have changed.
How they changed.
Yeah, and I actually started playing like
There is one thing on which we undoubtedly
almost an hour ago
that King
to
Wenceslas,
play through the castle
did not
attack
inherit
once
his
more.
father's gift
Tanbury
for governing.
attack.
Sadly, his failures have cost Bohemia, the nobles, and our whole Luxembourg family a great deal of money.
Which went
and effort.
worse this time,
How
but
did the
still
king get
came out
himself
of it alive. So
damn it.
It's in his temperament. He cares only for wine, women, and the hunt. A king, in fact, who never wanted to be king.
Then why didn't he just let his brother have the crown?
Young sir, the crown weighs heavy when there are duties to be performed, but to surrender it means giving up great privileges too.
But he did surrender power to his brother. When things started getting out of hand, Wenceslas appealed to Sigismund for help in restoring order.
What you're saying, Wenceslas invited
no,
him here?
you have a lot of
Starting to make my head spin.
sound.
Actually, it makes sense when you think about it. Sigismund wanted to re-establish the power of the whole house
Isn't
of Luxembourg. He thought if he helped Wenceslas win the imperial crown, in return his brother would help
I
him
think I still
become
have
king of
the
Romans, and leave the actual reign of
noise
Bohemia
gate on, so
and
I'm not
the
sure
empire to
if
him.
it's some
Sigismund
electronical
while
stuff going on.
Wenceslas could carry on doing what he was best at, enjoying the life of the imperial court.
Why wasn't Wenceslas crowned Holy Roman Emperor long ago? He was already elected king of the Romans. All he had to do was go and let the Pope put the damn imperial crown on his head.
Who knows? Maybe he'd prefer hunting and consorting with bathhouse wenches to spending time with the Pope.
Well, so would I must admit.
Sigismund's plan seemed sound enough, but it didn't quite work out, did it?
It worked for a while. He and his brother reached an agreement. Sigismund took over administration of
It isn't showing anything on the level gauge at least, so I'm not sure where it's coming from.
But then Wenceslas realized he would just be a puppet with a crown.
I must say, Margrave Jobst, Wenceslas and Prokop behave rather like naughty children in need of a good clout about the ears.
Sigismund would agree. He was already planning his rule of Bohemia, and all of a sudden, the rug was pulled from under him. I'd say he lost his patience and decided he'd drag Wenceslas to the coronation kicking and screaming if he had to. Just like a naughty child, as you say.
So he abducted him and your brother Prokop too, if I heard correctly.
Correct.
And you helped him do it, if I heard correctly.
Yes, your graces, it's true. I was there when Sigismund abducted Prokop. I thought everything could somehow be settled, that we could make my brother see sense. But Sigismund just wanted to put an end to the dispute once and for all, whatever the cost. There was nothing I could do to stop him. And that's one of the reasons why I'm here. The worst of it is that it was all for nothing. Instead of putting a stop to the revolt, it escalated it, and the result is this chaos we have today.
That's true enough, sir. But I must admit now, I'm not sure what your position is. The king is incompetent, but we must protect him?
The simple truth, gentlemen, is that for all of Wenceslas's faults, we have no one else.
So we'll have to make do with his idleness.
His
Like him,
idleness.
But what can we do now? Sigismund has the League of Lords behind him. Otto von Bergolf, Heinrich von
The
Rosenberg.
situation has gotten completely out of control. Now even the nobles of the League of Lords are realizing that Sigismund wasn't the right choice.
So now Berghoff is on your side. Are we to assemble an army together with him and face Sigismund on the field of battle?
We're not in Hungary now. Such affairs may be settled elegantly, without unnecessary hostilities or expenses. I have negotiated an alliance with the Hungarian bishops, the Polish, and of course the Czech nobility, against Sigismund. Every day he is losing the ground under his feet, and that's why I need your help too.
What kind of
Silence.
help, Sigismund has a massive army, and Rosenberg, Berghoff, and Prague are behind him. Do you have an army you could face him with?
But that's not what I mean at all. There's been a revolt against Sigismund in Hungary, partly due to my efforts, and now he'll have to choose whether he wants to gain the Bohemian crown, which is a very risky enterprise, or hold on to the Hungarian one. He can't have both. And there's a tough struggle awaiting him in Hungary. I'm not sure he'll win, and Rosenberg and Berghoff know it too. They're not stupid. If the Bohemian nobility stands together, they will turn.
We are men of little consequence, Margrave. Radzig here lost everything because of his alliance with Wenceslas. Sir Divish came within a hair of the same fate. Even Rattay is defenseless against Sigismund and the League of Lords.
What's more, Your Grace, King Wenceslas languishes in captivity in Vienna. He can't rule too well from there.
And what do you propose? To sit with your arms folded till the Bohemian lands are turned to ashes like scarlets? We have to put a stop to this senseless war.
And do you know, sir, what the true position of the League of Lords is?
I'm not on the best of terms with them at this moment, so you'll have to ask them yourselves.
Yes. Why not? I'll go and visit Berghoff at his castle and we'll see what he tells me.
You know, that's not such a bad idea, young sir.
True. Though a little risky.
I doubt Berghoff would harm a blue-blooded envoy. And you can find out what he has to say about developments and what the League of Lords is planning. Then we'll decide what to do next.
I'll help you compose a letter to him.
I'd like Henry to come with me.
Why not?
Of course.
He's proven himself an able investigator, and he'll also be a good bodyguard if anything should happen.
And I'll send Sir John here to Kuttenberg to be my eyes and ears there. I believe both your reports will help us get a better grip on the situation.
When can you set out?
Just as soon as I've packed my things.
Excellent. Margrave Jobst and I will draft a letter. Get ready, and we'll meet back here.
I expect it would be best to write it in your name as Lord of Lipa.
Quite so, Margrave.
What exactly am I to write?
Oh, what isn't really the issue. The question is how. We need to learn where they stand on liberating the king and ousting Sigismund. If they'll make trouble or join our side, but...
But we have to ask in a way that won't leave Sir Capon being run out of the castle with a whip.
Exactly.
How about writing that
Okay.
you're concerned about current events and that you want to see things settled peaceably, and then ask the opinion of the League of Lords?
Very well said, sir. And what they want to do about freeing King Wenceslas.
Whether they think liberating King Wenceslas IV might contribute to resolving the dispute?
And what they plan to do about the god-awful mess in this country.
What steps they envisage taking to end the pillaging of Bohemia by foreign armies?
I couldn't have put it better myself.
Well, I'd also venture to suggest one more. What is their stance on that is, the initiatives of Margrave Jobst of Moravia and a large part of the Bohemian nobility? Whether they plan to take action against them or support their efforts?
You read my thoughts, sir.
Well. At least now we are back, so to say. So now it might be worthwhile to actually level up some stuff here then. Oh, yeah, and also remember what to do. What was our actual quest now? Talk to your father, okay. That one is still on, so to say.
My humble greetings. How may I serve you?
Can I ask? Thank you. That's all I wanted to know.
So, what do you think of Margrave Jobst, Bernard?
From what I've heard about him, I wouldn't trust him if he told me rain was wet.
I feel the same. It's never wise to trust a man who's turned his coat more than once.
Exactly. And I don't buy that business with Prokop. He double-crossed his own brother, and the rest is just his cover-up.
On the other hand, if anyone has a chance to oust Sigismund and keep the nobility on his side, it has to be Jobst. I'm glad to see you.
Wash up.
What do you think of Job's speech, Sir Robard?
Honestly, lad, I wouldn't trust a word he says. He'll drag us into something, and when the going gets tough, he'll turn tail and leave us to deal with the consequences.
And who is this Jobst exactly?
He spent 20 years wrangling over Moravia with his brother, Prokop. Then they suddenly reconciled when Sigismund was captured in Hungary, and they went plundering there, claiming it was with the aim of liberating him. When Wenceslas sent them to parley with his enemy, Rupert of the Palatinate, the pair of them turned coats on the spot, took sides with Rupert, and together with the League of Lords and the Meissen nobles, laid siege to Prague. But then they made terms with the king. He agreed to hand over part of the government, and they sent the Meisseners home. This is no ancient history I'm talking about. It was only 2 years ago, and now, suddenly, he's Wenceslas's greatest ally. Can you trust someone like that?
Probably not.
Do you think that rescuing Wenceslas will help the country, sir?
God knows. The king is a drunkard. If he governed instead of boozing, wenching at the baths and hunting, there'd be peace and order. Quite honestly, I'm not surprised the Germans deposed him, or that Sigismund's patience ran out.
Why?
Wenceslas himself sent for Sigismund to help him, and made an agreement with him. And when Sigismund started acting as agreed, Wenceslas double-crossed him and claimed the agreement was invalid, just because he no longer liked it. What would you have done in Sigismund's place? On the other hand, now we've seen what Sigismund has been getting up to here, it's clear he's no better a sovereign than his brother. And that goes double for Rupert, not to mention Jobst, who might well have his eye on the Bohemian throne too. So, all in all, we're probably best off with the drunkard. Better the devil you know.
What about the League of Lords and Bergo? What are their objectives?
Whenever the king is weak, the nobility tries to grab as much as it can. Not for the good of the country, of course, only for themselves. The League of Lords is full of men like that. When the king was captured the first time, they released him only after he nominated them to high office and ceded some of his power to them. Now that he's held captive a second time, they run the country at Sigismund's behest. Bergov is the highest vice-chamberlain in the land. As soon as the king was captured, he declared a pogrom on the Jews and raised the tax dues of towns and monasteries. Watch your step with him.
And what about Rupert of the Palatinate? What does he want?
Rupert. He appointed himself king of the Romans, and ever since then he's been making the tactical moves of a coward who's not sure what to do. If Wenceslas were a man worth his salt, he'd have dealt with him long ago. But then, if Wenceslas was any use, he wouldn't be languishing behind bars in Vienna right now.
Yeah, bars as in prison, I suppose, not bars as in
Good. That was all I needed to know. Thank you, sir.
drinking.
You're welcome.
Could have been both, I
Take care of
suppose.
yourself. The world is a dangerous place, and Bergov's a dangerous man.
Yeah, so I wonder what this will lead to. Where did my father go? Did he leave? Oh, there he is. We can have a chat with Divish as well,
God bless you.
perhaps.
What troubles you?
No. Nothing new there.
So, it looks like you're off on a mission.
Yes. I can't wait.
I don't want to dampen your spirits, my boy, but watch out. These are evil times, and who knows what can happen along the way. Not to mention that Bergov is no saint.
Don't worry.
I know. You've shown you can fend for yourself, but do take care. You'll be traveling as Lord Capon's bodyguard. You'll be there to make sure nothing untoward happens to him. Keep your eyes peeled and your ears wide open. What Bergov tells you is one thing, but what you see may be quite another.
Rest assured, Father.
And don't get embroiled in anything else. Just hand over the letter, hear out his reply, and return.
Yes.
Very well. Bergov is at Trotsky Castle. I think you'll find it quite an eye-opener. It's one of the finest castles in the land.
Oh,
It's
nice.
3 days' ride from here, so unless you hit a snag along the way, you'll be back soon enough. Any questions?
Oof.
I don't know all that much about Sigismund.
He's the king's younger brother and king of Hungary in his own right. 7 years ago, he led a crusade against the Turks and was defeated at Nicopolis. Some say it was due to the recklessness of the French knights, most of whom were mercilessly slaughtered. Sigismund is ambitious and capable. He might well make a better ruler than Wenceslas, but he's arrogant, and to our misfortune, brutal. Not long ago, he himself was held captive by the Hungarian nobility.
Yeah, there is a lot of plot going on here, so I understand. Or
Ironically,
plot and plot, there is a
Wenceslas joined forces with
whole
Jobst to liberate
mess.
him. And now this is how Sigismund repays his brother. There's no doubt about it.
On the other hand, it's a historical mess. I mean, it's totally possible to read up on it in anywhere, I suppose.
That young man, Sir John of Liechtenstein. Why is he here?
The Liechtensteins are a powerful Austrian family with estates in Austria and Moravia. Sir John sits on Jobst's council. Since the king's being held captive in Vienna, I suppose it makes sense to have a powerful Austrian house as allies. It could be very useful.
I'm getting a bit lost in the Luxembourg lineage. It all seems a bit too tangled.
The Luxembourgs have ruled the empire and Bohemia for almost 100 years now. Emperor Charles brought this land to prominence. When he was in power, things had never been so good. Wenceslas and Sigismund are his sons, but by different mothers. Jobst and Prokop are their cousins. They were entrusted with governing Moravia. But instead, they've been in a bitter armed feud for years, and now Sigismund's fallen out with Wenceslas. Wenceslas also had another brother, the youngest, John of Görlitz, who was most probably poisoned. They seem like a hot-blooded lot. It's hard to keep up with their affairs, since they tend to change their alliances from one day to the next.
Yeah, that's how it feels, I must say. Well,
that's about all.
Yeah,
Very
precisely.
well. Take the letter from Sir Hanush, and good luck, son.
No, it's actually not me that will go and speak to some.
So
Well,
what
it
do you
might
think
end
of
up in that way, but it's Hans.
That makes two of us. If I didn't...
I will just be his bodyguard, essentially.
I believe we have written it well, gentlemen.
Without a doubt. No one could deduce from this whether we are Sigismund's allies or foes.
I must travel back to Brno now, but soon I will go to Brandenburg and I will stop here on the way back. By then, Sir Capon should be back and we can discuss how to proceed.
Right. Before you leave, my lord, there is one thing that gives me no rest. Why did Sigismund come as a foe? It makes no sense.
If I may, sir, I think I can explain.
Oh, please enlighten us, young sir.
I live not far from Hungary, where Sigismund reigns. It is a savage country, and the constant war with the Turks has hardened the people. They need a monarch with an iron hand. So when Sigismund felt the wind of revolt, he reacted as he would at home. Only what works on the Hungarian nobles does not work here in Bohemia.
Bringing order is one thing, but slaughtering and pillaging with a horde of barbarians quite another. What purpose does that serve?
But Sigismund did give the Bohemian nobles a chance to take his side. It was only when they refused his ultimatum that he lost patience and took to the sword.
As for the barbarians, he could afford nothing better. The Hungarian nobility would gain nothing from joining his campaign in Bohemia. He didn't have enough coin for a regular army, and so he recruited the Cumans. What he does not pay them, they make up for in plunder.
But in the end, he didn't have enough to even satisfy the Cumans. That's why he raided Gutenberg and Skalitz. He wanted the silver.
That makes sense.
My lords, how's the letter coming along?
It's done.
Then we can be on our way.
Now,
Yeah,
remember
he's
what
so
we said,
cheerful
right?
today.
All you have to do is deliver the letter, listen to the answer, and come back here. Don't provoke Berghoff in any way.
Provoke? Me? Never.
Oh no, I
We'll
can
be
see
back in a few
where this is going already.
Farewell, your graces. Come, Henry, my men are waiting.
I wish you Godspeed.
Newman, 400 kilograms of mail. Oh, that's one way of not doing your job. Oh, I got 85 groschen. If you like, you can still embark on side quests and activities or just wander the world. You can finish the game anytime by joining Sir Hans Capon's squad. Okay. So I can roam and actually finish the game by joining Sir Hans Capon's squad. That will be the...
Come now, Hal. My men are mustered in the courtyard. We can get going.
That will be the end of the game, actually. If I do that, I suppose. Seems like that, at least. Well, you know what? I do have a lot of side quests and stuff that I haven't done, but I can do them with another character as well. So, in that sense, yeah, I don't have much things left active, so to say, so that's not a problem. But there are a lot of other side quests I know of indirectly that I never accepted. For example, anything that has to do with millers and that thief side of things. But I will do that with another character now that I know a little bit of that the game actually that it actually worked to load the epilogue. Although you had to do it in a very specific way. In other words, not
Good day, Henry.
not quitting the game after returning from Talmberg and then trying to load it in, because that surely didn't work. Well, loading the game in worked, but not is that Pebbles, or is it? Yeah, it's Pebbles. Yay. So you know what?
So, can we set
We
up
might
now?
actually...
Of course. I can't wait.
So, to horse! The Lord of Berghoff is bound to be waiting us eagerly.
Although I actually wanted to see that pretty castle. We'll see. Maybe we will actually get to see it. I'm not sure. It was 3 days away, so probably not. Well, I'm glad I'm not his only bodyguard, at least. Although I suppose he actually wants me up front. He's probably gonna chat away as usual. Da-di-da, yak-a-yak.
So, how is life as a highborn bastard?
I'm getting used to it.
What about Rodzig? Has he accounted for not owning up to you the whole time?
He explained it. All will be well, I think.
Glad to hear it. It's far more acceptable for a nobleman to befriend a noble bastard than a blacksmith.
Mind you, don't come to blows with a blacksmith, my young lord. What do you think about Sir Jobst and his plan?
Well, I admit all the scheming has me a little lost. I thought Sigismund was the devil, Wenceslas a martyr, those on his side the heroes, and those against him the villains. I believed we'd rescue the king and all would be well again, but now it looks a lot more complicated.
Exactly. I didn't expect the noble lords to be as noble as the angels, but I hadn't expected such a sewer. They behave like children.
I can't fathom how after all this backstabbing they're somehow still on speaking terms.
I don't know either. Beggar's belief.
Yeah, I was supposed.
Did you know
Trying.
King Wenceslas is such a
Feckless drunkard? Not really. And to be honest, I'm not sure I wanted to know. I slept better, believing my fate was watched over by a wise and powerful monarch.
So did I.
What a dismal world when you can't keep trust in your own king.
On the other hand, times were better with him here than with him gone.
Isn't that the truth?
He does not get it either, no. Precisely. I have my shield equipped, yes.
If I were him, I'd have had enough of my brother even sooner.
But he's a monster. Look at what those hordes of his are getting up to here. What he did in Skalitz.
True enough. On the other hand, if Wenceslas and Prokop hadn't double-crossed him, none of this would have happened.
No one forced him to burn Skalitz.
That's a fact. But he couldn't let them shit all over him either. Not that I'm defending the kind.
He's a weasel.
No doubt about that.
Okay, are we finished?
Do you know anything about Prokop?
No, not.
Sir Hanush could tell you a thing or two about him.
Why?
Last winter, a certain Sir Jan Sokol of Lamberg, a well-known knight, or robber baron to some, tried to occupy the city of Iglau, which was on the orders of none other than Prokop.
And what has that got to do with Hanush?
Well, he was there with him. Of course, that's not something to brag about in front of Jobst.
And what was it all about?
They wanted to occupy a city that was on the side of the League of Lords, but despite there being several hundred strong, they didn't take it. For one thing, they couldn't get past the Iglau women, with their pitchforks and cauldrons of hot water.
I would never have thought of Sir Hanush as such a rebel.
Yeah, well, he seems like a bit of a rebel, I must say.
And have you heard anything about Rupert of the Palatinate?
A little. He can't manage even to wrest power from a king who doesn't much care for ruling and isn't fighting back. That doesn't seem like a man who has what it takes to rule. And that's all I need to know.
Well, I suppose the calculation is actually in kind of...
And that Berghoff we're going to see, do you know anything about him?
I haven't heard much good about him.
normal pace, not galloping, because you cannot gallop for
And his
3
castle
days.
is apparently quite impressive. I'll be interested to see for myself.
And what about the League of Lords?
Wealthy, pompous.
That
The king doesn't seem to
brings to mind
He's
how
chosen
the...
the lesser ranks of the nobility into his
What
service.
was that kind of courier system they had in
But the lords weren't happy
the
about
Wild Wild West, so to say,
If I were Wenceslas, I'd have
where they had
looked after the abduction
horses stationed at regular intervals, so they just switched horses and rode them as hard as they could, essentially, for the express delivery. That's one way to do it, of course. But if you want to ride the same horse, yeah, you probably should take it a bit easy. Are we still talking about something? No, perhaps not. Well, now we are in Neuhof. Oh. So what now? What noise?
May the Lord watch over you.
Suppose we'll be riding off the map essentially, but we will see. Going straight. Yeah. Yeah, perhaps they also did like that, the Mongols. That's probably true. Or, it's probably not the only, that's probably something used in the military services all around, I suppose. I guess I would try actually, I'm not sure I will stream it though, but I will try a thieving character next. Sneaky thieving bastard. With a bit of an evil streak as well, perhaps. Well, bastard I am, apparently, anyhow, so... Okay, if you're gonna ride there, so feel free. I stick... Sorry. I stick to this side on. Nah. We're fine. But he should wear a helmet, because I know what an arrow to the head can do. Or Runt knows what an arrow to the head can do, at least. You're not wearing a helmet. Ask Runt. Oh no, you can't, he's dead. Yeah. A camp. Speaking of highwaymen and stuff. Objective completed. Okay. Game saved. Okay.
How about it, Henry? Can we go? Are you ready for this?
God save you, Henry.
Of course. At last I'll get to see more of the country and have a bit of an outing.
Quite.
Yeah, precisely, the fight in top of the church. The end.
Let's get to it then. I finally have the feeling we're doing something worthwhile. We're helping to save the king.
Instead of saving his drunken majesty, I'd rather find that horseman who murdered my parents, get the sword back from him, and skewer him with it.
Cheer up, Henry. I have a feeling you'll get your chance one day, and it won't be long in coming. Forward, men! Audentes fortuna juvat!
Off to the, well, not necessarily sunset, so, but off at least. Well, that was the end. Earlier we had the credits, but this is the actual end, and yes, they were pretty clear with that, so I knew that. If I wanted to continue, I could have done that, and joined Capon when I wanted to. So yeah, that was the end. Well, the most annoying part, perhaps, that was the bug we had just before the epilogue, or trying to start the epilogue, we can say. Otherwise, I'm pretty pleased with this game in general, so I will certainly give it a couple of runs with different playstyles. So next up, probably a stealth kind of guy. Thieving and, well, stealing and killing. Sneak killing, if we put it that way. Continue is probably not an option in this case. No, I won't even try. I won't even try, I say, and then press continue anyhow. We'll see what it does. Probably loads the last save game, which was just before we rolled off. Which means that I want to load that game and continue playing side quests and stuff. Oh no, it's here. Okay. Ah, okay. Hammering. Yeah, that happens on weekends. This camp is a bit interesting, or is it just a... Oh, they will probably camp here until I'm ready to go. Ah, that's probably the way. Ooh. Bush shield. This should be really good, shouldn't it? Heavy shield, 133 in defense. 150 in defense, charisma 20. Yay! Hey. That looks nice. Rob. Oh, it was empty. Who's there? It's just me. Never mind. I'm fine. So, in other words, I can still... Game has saved here, so that's good to know. I can continue playing from here if I want to. Have a look. The map ends here, I suppose. Yeah, kind of. For example, we have an interesting site up there. What that can be. But we have a bandit camp down here that I can clear out. I did it earlier today, actually, trying to get the game to load correctly. Didn't help. But it was surprisingly easy to... I managed to kill the bandit leader with one arrow, and then it was kind of like, yeah. All the other ones were mostly fleeing, so the hardest thing about killing them was getting the drop on them, so to say. Because they mostly just ran away, bravely ran away. So I could do a little bit of those kinds of things. We will see, we will see. But that's it for today, I think. Now we know how it ends. And I also know that I can continue playing if I want to. So I might use this character to do a bit of scouting, for example. You know, clear off some of these foggy areas. Down here we have a lot of unexplored stuff, for example. I know I've been through this part at some point, but I died, so down here somewhere. I messed up, or I just returned perhaps, but I died later on in that sense. So yeah, I will be doing a little bit of that, but yeah, I am at 5 days in a row, I think. Yeah, that's the symbol to the left there. I'm doing fine. Although should eat. Well, not now. Soon. Speaking about eating, we had a rabbit. Just run around a little bit randomly here. See what shows up. Because that's, in that sense, it's a nice game. Much like in, for example, Fallout, there is a lot of, well, not a lot perhaps, but several places to kind of discover on your own. Not necessarily weird and wonderful places in that sense, but hunting sites and so-called interesting sites and accidents. And here we have a little path, by the way. Oh, Civ 6, yeah, that's a good idea. That's something worth trying, but I should get out with my dog first. But I could certainly cut the stream, and then we could, because now we have the end of the game, the epilogue, essentially, which was what I was looking for. So, oh, this is probably a boar hunting spot then. Oh, not officially, yeah, officially boar hunting spot. So yeah, we can certainly think about some Civ 6. That's a good point. Well, on that note, thank you for tuning in, and we did find a way to resolve the problems. I did find a way. I read some notes about it. That yes, if you go directly from the Conquest of Talmberg to the epilogue, then it seems to be loading fine. If you do as I did the first time, you struggle with the Conquest of Talmberg until the middle of the night, and then save and quit, so to say. Then load it up the next day and try to complete it. Then it refuses to load. That's the conclusion I can draw from that. It was supported by some other comments, and it seems to have some merit, that problem, so to say. Call it a bug. But yeah, we'll get in touch, the event, and then we will do some Civ 6. Had we started one already? I don't even remember. No, perhaps not. Well, we'll see about that. Thank you for tuning in. I will see if I will stream more of Kingdom Come, perhaps just on occasion, but now I started a new Fallout run, so that will be the main topic for the following streams. Oh, good, not started, no, precisely. But see you later. Bye-bye.